Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to tell you about treasure troves after Blenheim. So it's an historical reference. It happened on 13th August. It was a war of 26 days near the river Danube in Blenheim. Blenheim is a small village in Germany. So it happened there. In this poem written by Robert Southey, we see uh, how war is discouraged. Means he wants to say that we should not encourage war because it makes an much destruction, and there is a great irony. Though many people died, though it was a destruction, then also the grandfather tells that it was a great victory. But the new generation asked that what the war was for, and grandfather fails to answer that. So I'll narrate it for you. It was a summer evening. Old Casper's work was done, and he before his cottage door was sitting in the sun, and by him spotted on the green his little grandchild, Wilhelmine. So it was a summer evening, and old Casper had done his work, and he was sitting before the cottage door. Cottage means hut, is hut's door, and under the sun. It was a sunny day, summer evening, so sunny day, and by him spotted on the green grasses were there, because he was a farmer. So fields were there with greenery, and his little grandchild was playing there. William, he had two grandchilds, William and Peterkin. She saw her brother Peterkin. Wilhelmine saw his brother Peterkin. Means Wilhelmine was a girl and Peterkin was a boy, and they were brother sisters. Rolled something large and round, and Wilhelmine saw that Peterkin was rolling something round and smooth. It was smooth, and it was large also, which he beside the rivulet means narrow stream, which he beside the rivulet in playing there had found. When Peterkin and Wilhelmine were playing beside the rivulet means narrow stream means that river Danube. So when they were playing there, they found a skull. So with that only they were playing. Beside the river, the skull was found. It was of a dead man who died, who was a martyr, I think so. Who was a martyr, and he died there. He came to ask what he had found that was so large and smooth and round. And Wilhelmine saw that Peterkin has came to grandfather and is asking, what is this smooth and round shape? What is this? Old Caspar took it from the boy, who stood expectant by, and then the old man shook his head, and with a natural sigh, "This some more poor fellow's skull," said he, "who fell in the great victory." So it tells, he takes the skull from the boy and tells, it is a poor man's skull who died in the great victory. So it's an irony here. It's a destruction, then also it's a great victory. Now I find them in the garden, for there's many here about, and often when I go to pluck, the pluck share turns them off. See, this paragraph tells that when in the war many martyrs died, then they were taken no care. They were thrown here and there, and their muscles and skins were decayed there only, and they were taken no care. So he tells, whenever he plucks or he digs, some skull, some bones come out from it. For many thousand men, said he, were slain in that great victory. And grandfather tells that, yes, the skull will come out, the bones will come out. Yeah, because they were cut now in the great victory. That was great victory. Now tell us what this was all about. Young Peter Kine, he cries. Okay, okay, grandfather, okay. It was a great victory. But what was it for? Young Peter Kine told. And little Wilhelmine looks up with wonder waiting eyes. Wonder waiting is an electrician. And with wonder, he's the Wilhelmine, who was the granddaughter, told. Now tell us all about the war. Tell about the war. And what they fought each other for. And what they fought, how they fought, and why they fought. The reason why they fought. Ah, it was the English. Yeah, it were the French. The English, Caspar cried, who put the French to rout. Who put the French to rout means escape. But what they fought each other for, I could not well make out. Yeah, it was a great victory. The English and French fought against each other. But I could not understand what was the fight for. Means what is the reason for the fight? But everybody said, queth means said, it's an archaism, Archaism. When any historical thing is spoken, it's known as an archaism. That it was a famous victory. No, everyone says, that is why I also tell, it was a very great victory, it was a great victory, But I don't know what is the reason behind it. Why they fought for, I don't know. My father lived at Blenheim, then, yon little stream hard by. They burnt his dwelling to the ground, and he was forced to fly. So with his wife and child he fled, nor had he where to rest his head. Oh, my father, at that time my father was alive, and he was in the Blenheim. He was living in the Blenheim. And that time he took his wife, his parents, and moved away when the war was going on. And no one was in the village. With fire and sword. Fire here denotes to destruction and sword denotes to death. Sword the country round was wasted far and wide, and many a childing mother then and newborn baby died. But things like that, must be at very famous victory. There was destruction and death, and there were women's with their child in their wombs, and they were counted only one, but actually the child in their womb and the mother, they were two. So 2 persons were killed. But it happens in a great victory. Grandfather tells, it always happens in a great victory. They say it was a shocking sight after the field was owned, for many thousand bodies here lay rotting in the sun. But things like that, must be after a famous victory. And after the war, it was a shocking sight. After the field was owned, 1,000 bodies were laid upon the ground, and they were rotting. In Hindi we call sadna. They were rotting under the scorching sun. But these things occur. Although it is a great victory, grandfather tells it's a great victory. So every line where it is used famous victory, it's an irony. Great praise the Duke of Marlborough own, and our good Prince Eugene. Why, that was a very wicked thing, said little Wilhelmine. Nay, nay, my little girl, quoth he, it was a famous victory. So the kings were praised for it, but the martyrs that died were not taken care. Then Wilhelmine said, no, it's not. It's not their victory. It's the dead's. But many people were killed in that war, so it's their victory. Then grandfather says, oh yeah, many people were killed, so what? It's a famous victory. It's a great victory. And everybody praised the Duke who this great fight did win. But what good came of it at last? Quoth little Peterkin. Why, that I cannot tell, said he, but it was a famous victory. And everybody praised the Duke, congratulated the Duke, but no one took care of the bodies. Then Peter Pan asks, then what was the use of the fight? What was the use of the war? Grandfather tells, I don't know. I don't know. I could not understand. But it was a great victory. So now you can imagine that we should not encourage war. And to know more about the war, in ICSE nowadays they are giving about wars, the essays about wars. So to know more about the wars, you can read poems. I can suggest you uh, uh yeah story also. It's a book, Sniper, and you can go through Arms and the Man by Arms and the Man. It's a drama. It's also about the wars, so you can go through it. And one thing I want to suggest, where many YouTube, I when I just started the YouTube channel, I had the first experience. So I went through many YouTube videos, and one of them, I'll not name them, one of them told to buy some books, guidebooks. Never. You should not buy any of the guidebooks. You should have a good guide man. Yeah, I have a good guide man. That's Mr. Kalyan Sarkar. So I have a good guide man. You should also have a good guide man. And if you don't have, then you can go through some good guide. But never in your whole life you should use guidebooks. I never use. You should never use those guidebooks because they just deviate your mind. You can go through my videos, you can go through any other's videos, but never go through guidebooks. So it was up to here only. If you have any problem in treasure tropes or any other book in this whole universe, you can ask me. It may take time. The new things I don't know, the books I don't know, I have to buy and read it. So it will take time, but I will give you the answer because I do not fail. I will not fail because I have a thing that's passion, and you should also have that passion. Okay, thank you and have a great day.